Lance Corporal Anthony Bell, who's seen service all around the world, including the Gulf War and 4 tours in Northern Ireland, now leaves the mass bands to position alongside the escort to beat the drummer's call. Later on this year, he'll join F Company as their company drummer. So the drummer's call is the sort of old-fashioned signal for the officers to take post and prepare for the trooping. An orderly takes the pace stick from the regimental sergeant major, Ian Gwynn, very smart, 6 foot 2 inches, and a brilliant shot. He nearly won the Queen's Medal at Bisley last year.
Reminder, change, arms, standard, ease.
So Captain Tim Hutchinson now gives his first orders. The subaltern taking command of the escort for the colour, and they will march forward, form left to the traditional tune British Grenadiers to collect the colour.
Escort for the colour! Aye! Left! Quick! Forward!
So while the escort dresses, the field officer will give orders for the escort will present arms. Regimental Sergeant Major's only previous troop was a Lance Corporal in 1979 when he was in the escort with the 2nd Battalion. So with the colour now safely in their charge, F Company become escort to the colour. And in a moment, they'll advance to troop the colour through the ranks of the 5 other guards to the music, escort to the colour.
Scots Guards! To the colour! Change! Up! Scots Guards! To the colour! High! The centre! Oh! Back!
As the escort approach number 6 guard, the field officer will order the rest of the parade to present arms.
Guards! Present arms!
The mass bands now play the Grenadiers' Slow March. The symbolism of this part of the parade dates back hundreds of years. The idea is that every man Jack should be able to recognise his own unit's standard or colour so that they could rally round it in the fog of battle. Of the 40 battle honours recorded on the Queen's colour, names like Namur, Dettingen and Salamanca are merely distant reminders of the regiment's long and distinguished history. But the 40th scroll has considerably more relevance for these men. It says simply, Falkland Islands, 1982. To this day, the regiment's colours go with it wherever they may go in the world, the Gulf, Bosnia or Northern Ireland. There's still a crucial role for these men who combine superb ceremonial skills with all the complex disciplines of the modern battlefield soldier. The scholarly ensign, Lieutenant Christopher Bell, feels a great sense of pride at the honour of carrying the colour, coming as he does from a military family. His father was a Gurkha and military policeman, his grandfather a gunner, and his great-uncle a grenadier, before completing 2 full tours on Lancaster bombers, where he won the Distinguished Flying Cross. The 2nd Battalion Scots Guards lost 8 men killed during the Falklands War. As F Company Commander Major Charles Page waits for his men to return to his command, he may be reflecting on what he describes as a defining moment in his life. The war gave me a sense of what is important and what isn't, he says. Shortly before going to the Falklands, he was the ensign mounting guard at Buckingham Palace. Before leaving Chelsea Barracks, one of the 2 regimental drill sergeants would hand him the colour. As a 19-year-old, wet behind the ears, he was conscious of his own inexperience beside the highly respected senior warrant officer, Drill Sergeant Danny White, and of the significance of the colours. A few short weeks later, Danny White was shot and killed in a diversionary attack on Mount Tumbledown, 15 years ago today. In memory of him and the others who gave their lives in that far-flung corner of the globe, Regimental Sergeant Major Ian Gwynn was determined that his men should put on a good show, both for Her Majesty and for them, that they should feel proud to have been Scots Guardsmen.
the killer! And advance!
So the subaltern completes his duties before the captain returns the compliment to the rest of the parade, ordering the escort to present arms.
Escort to the colour! Present! Arms! Guards! Stop! Arms! Officers! Take post! Quick march!
So now it's all back in charge of the field officer, who now makes the preparations for the march past by the foot guards in slow and quick time. The officer's taking post. He'll give orders for guards 1 and 5 to form into column.
Numbers 1 to 5 guards will retire about turn!
Adjutant of the parade, Captain James McEwen.
At the halt! Right form! Quick march!
Movement at last for guards 2 to 5, and they march to the pipe tune Hazelmere.
Numbers 1 to 5 guards will advance about turn! Guards will march past in slow and quick time. By the left, slow march.
Gravel on Horse Guards Parade has been relaid this year, and it's a little too thick in places, which makes the staccato jab and slide of the slow march even more difficult. See these men in training in their modern camouflage kit, doing their best to remain invisible to the enemy. It's hard to imagine that this is how they once went into battle, locked shoulder to shoulder in their bright scarlet tunics, almost inviting the next salvo of grape shot. But in fact, the bright colours and huge bearskin caps were all designed to intimidate and frighten the enemy. So as the Guards complete another left form, the ensign carries the colour to the front of the escort for the march past in slow time. A flourish from the field officer and the major of the parade, Major Charlie McGrath of the Irish Guards. And then the Queen's colour will be lowered in salute to Her Majesty. Scots Guards slow march, the garb of old Gaul. With the colour let fly, we see the 40 scrolls containing the battle honours won during 350 years of loyal service. In the centre, the thistle of Scotland and the rose of England, issuing from one stem above the motto Unita Fortior, in unity is strength. And a Union flag in the corner distinguishes it as the Queen's colour of the 2nd Battalion. Numbers 2 and 3 Guards, also found by the Scots Guards. The garb of old Gaul continues. For number 4 Guard, the slow march of the Grenadiers, Scipio.
Into quick time! Quick march!
As the Foot Guards change smoothly from 65 to 116 paces per minute, the mass bands play the lovely tune, The Road to the Isles. As has been the tradition since Her Majesty first reviewed the parade as sovereign in 1952, and at her instructions, the pipers move to the front of the band for the quick march past, and it's a Scots or Irish colour that's being trooped. is bred in many ways on the parade ground. Their immaculate turnout, the result of long hours of labour, their outstanding performance, the product of shared belief, confidence and trust that every man will do his duty to the highest standards. In quick time, the colour will stay behind the escort, simulating battle formation. Elan Laddie.
Guards! Royal salute! Present arms! Guards! Slow! Arms! Guards! In close order! Left and right! Dress!
So the field officer.
Guards will form 3 ranks! Form 3 ranks!
The mass mounted bands move off into the approach road. They'll lead the whole procession back,
Upward! Turn!
while the divisions close up to the tune The Adjutant.
Divisions! Right form! Quick march! Divisions will advance! Upward! Turn!
And the divisions now close up on the escort to Prussian glory.
On the escort! Form close column! Remainder, quick march! Guards!
Meanwhile, the garrison sergeant major, Perry Mason, 35 years a Coldstream Guardsman and 10 years the garrison sergeant major, waits to give the signal that all is clear in the approach road.
To your duties!
The quick march, Scotland the brave.
Quick march!
And Her Majesty loves the sound of Black Bear, the traditional march for the Scottish regiments returning to barracks. Well, in some ways, what we've seen today might seem an irrelevance in Tony Blair's New Britain. But I'm sure he wouldn't want to cast aside the qualities of honour and integrity, self-discipline and a willingness to help others that are an essential part of military life. Qualities that are somehow embodied in that crimson silk flag. To quote from the Service of Consecration of New Colours, they are an abiding symbol of our duty towards our sovereign and our country, and a sign of our resolve to guard, preserve and sustain the great traditions of bravery and self-service, of which we are the proud inheritors. And so another page is turned in the glorious history of the Scots Guards. Major Charlie Page said he wanted this to be the best birthday parade ever. He said that at the time of the Falklands War, it was all rather mundane, and that with the naivety of youth, it didn't really have any effect on him. Well, since then, he's become very proud to have been part of it. And such are the traditions of the Household Division, that he and everyone involved today will feel equally proud of a job superbly done here. As Major General Ian Mackay-Dick said earlier, they did it for their battalion and their regiment, but most of all, because they didn't want to let their friends down. I don't know if this was the best ever, but it was certainly very good. Bye-bye.